Okay, so let's wait. Okay, so let's. I'm going to read through the textbook at the top, and then I'll make notes along the side here. Okay, so we often use expressions with numbers and symbols to describe different situations. So an expression is a group of terms separated by a plus and minus signs. Okay, so first things first, there's no equal sign. No? Because it's an expression, there's no equal sign. So I'm just going to say no equal sign. Right, then, how are terms separated? Terms are separated by, yes, by plus and minus signs. Okay, and we are going to talk about that just now because I'm going to give you an expression and then ask you how many terms are there. So you would have to know how many terms there are. Okay, then terms can be a single number, a number and a variable multiplied together. Okay, it can even be like a full bracket. No, so these mathematical expressions are called algebraic expressions when they contain letters in the place of unknown values. Okay. I'm skipping a bit. Then they say, as the variable in an expression takes on different numerical values, the value of the whole expression changes. Okay, but I'm going to get to that just now. What I first want to stick to is these different terms. Right, so if I were to give you the following, 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. Okay, how many terms would there be here? 3. Okay, because term 1 would be this. No, now I see a negative, or at least a minus. So I know, okay, it cuts here, a new term starts. So that minus is part of term 2. You guys have heard me say that the sign in front of the number or the unknown is always part of it, no? That's one thing. Okay, so that's term 2. And then I see a plus, so again, it cuts off, new term starts. So this will be term 3. Okay, so that is 3 terms. Okay, now the next one. You can write example, yeah. The next one I'm saying 5 right, so over here, how many terms? 2, well done. Why? Because that plus in there is inside a bracket. And this is actually 5 times the whole bracket. No. So, which means that I can't look at that plus inside because that's part of the first term. Do you guys agree? So this is term 1. Then I see a negative, so it cuts and we start the new term. That is term 2. No. So how many terms? 2 terms. Right. Now, remember that same thing. So if I were to give you this, x minus y, how many terms would that be? 1 term. Good. Now, we actually have names for expressions that only have one term or two terms or three terms? Ja, kyk hoe oulik is julle. Yeah. So one term is called monomial. Yes? I did it with you guys last year, no? But then you didn't have to know the names. Yeah. I did it with you, but it was never asked. No. I can't remember. Okay, but in any case, this is not new to you guys. Okay, so what do we call two terms? Binomial. Ag, julle is oulik. Binomial. Three terms? Trinomial.
So, ma'am, they will ask you how many times they are.
Yes, you will see that in the homework they're going to ask you write down whether these expressions are monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So then you're not allowed to say three terms or two terms. You must talk about trinomial or monomial or binomial. Okay, right. So, any questions so far? Okay. Now I want to talk about like terms. Can I skip?
Then I'm going to do exercise 8.1.
Hmm? It's not long, and you've got another period, no? As long as I finish what I need to now, then you're going to have that. Yeah, my music is now fixed, so yes, we can do music. Yeah. Okay. But then you guys must be quiet. Kom. En dan moet julle nie as ek vir jou vra wat is jou song se naam dan Huh? No. Okay, right. Now this like terms. You had that in the test. No. Okay, so like terms will have the same variables, the same or identical Okay, so meaning if I were to give you, and this was almost like the test, 3x squared y, will that be the same as or a like term of 2yx squared? Will it be a like term of xy squared? Okay, so yes for this one, but no for that one because of this. No, the square must be with an x and not with a y. Do you guys see that? So it must be identical. It must be exactly the same. Okay, so those are like terms. Now remember, when we simplify, I am only allowed to add or subtract like terms, meaning those that are the same. Them I can add or subtract. Okay, so kyk nou wil ek skryf subtract. So when we simplify, I can only add or subtract like terms. You guys good with that? No, they basically stay the same. So let me give you an example, no? So if I were to give you 3x plus y minus 2x plus y squared. Okay? So which one of these are like terms? Which ones have got the same unknown? The 3x and the minus 2x. So that can be simplified to 1x or just x. The y doesn't have like terms, so that I just rewrite again. Y squared doesn't have like terms, so I just rewrite again. Does that make sense? When we multiply or divide, then yes, you can multiply any. Okay. Yeah, but you said the rest of the terms we can multiply. It's not this. We can, yeah, that's true. I forgot. I saw it now in the textbook. People, I did not say this, but when we have many terms, meaning more than 3, does say. We call it a polynomial. Okay. So just maybe, I'm going to skip back. Poly in my pocket. Okay, so just make a note there somewhere. Polynomial is more than 3 or lots of terms. In your textbook, it's wat ek hom nou nog gesien. A polynomial is an expression consisting of many terms. So it's not a specific number. It's just I gave you the names of term 1, 2 terms, and 3 terms. And so anything more than that, we can call a polynomial. Right.
Say now you have a number in brackets, and the number is outside of the bracket. Is it the same thing when it's inside the bracket? Like it's just one number in brackets?
No, it depends on whether there's a sign. So if it was a minus 1, no, or 1, if it was just 1, then 1 squared will be the same as 1 squared. But when it's a minus 1, that is different from this. Okay, so that's why I'm saying it depends. So, yeah. Okay. Everyone fine up until here? Okay, now they can also ask us to they say as the variable in an expression takes on different numerical values, the value of the whole expression changes. Meaning, if I were to give you 11x squared minus 3x plus 4, and I say if x is 1. Yes. What we would then do is everywhere that we had x in our expression, we're going to substitute that with 1. But what's very important here is we have to use brackets. Yeah? It's still just algebraic expression. Huh? I'm just quickly running through. Actually, you have done all of this in grade 8, so I'm just running through before I can get to the actual part, the new part. Okay, so you can say 11, and then instead of x, I'm going to substitute 1 squared minus 3 times 1, and then plus 4. What's wrong? Why are you confused? Huh? Okay. All I did. Okay, so have a look. At the top, I had. Oh, come on. I had 11x squared. But I say if x is 1, So now instead of x, I'm going to say 1. So then minus 3x, but instead of x, I'm going to say 1. Does it now make sense? All right. So if I were to simplify that, it would be 11 minus 3 plus 4. So it gives me 12. No. Right. You guys want to do one on your own? Yeah? Calculate the value of and I'm again going to use 1. Okay, right. Try that one on your own quickly. Los die skaak en doen gouie. You guys done? This one that I just did. No. You can skip from that to the final answer. Yes, you've got to show me that you substitute. That's a mark. Okay, and then the final answer. So minus 5 plus 3 is minus 2, so minus 14, minus 22. Okay, so you should have gotten minus 22. Did you guys all get that? Okay. We say no. Okay, right. Now, if I were to give you the following expression. Okay, minus 5x to the power 4 plus 3x squared minus 12x, so the one that we just had, minus 8. Okay, so I am asking you, number 1. How many terms are there? I'm going to talk about each one now. I just want to finish writing. Okay, right. So, let's just talk through all of these. Number one, I'm asking you how many terms would there be? Okay, so who can tell me how many terms? Have a look. There's my term 1. Then I see a plus, so it cuts. So this is term 2. I see a negative, so a new term starts. Term 3, and then term 4. So 4 terms. You guys all good? Okay, I don't want to write it down because I want to keep this for my next class. Then, when I ask you for the constant, what is the constant term? It doesn't have a variable. It doesn't have an unknown. So right there, make a note. That would be the term without the variable or the term without the unknown. And that would be minus 8. Not just 8. I've got to include the sign as well. So it would be negative 8. Okay. Yes, it's 4 terms. Then at number 3, I'm asking you for the degree of the expression. What do we look at then? The highest exponent. So what would the degree of this expression be? 4. Good. No, just 4. Yeah. 4th degree, yes. Yeah. Okay, then coefficient. What does that mean again? There we go. The number in front of the variable. Please remember to include the sign as well, no? If it's a positive, then you can just say 3. So what's the coefficient of x to the power 3? X to the power 2 would be 3 or positive 3. Okay, now, what is the coefficient of x to the power of 4? There we go. It's got to be minus 5. So in this case, I have to write that minus. If you just wrote 5, you're not going to get your mark. Okay? Right. Now the last one, the value of the expression if x is minus 1. So you can use your calculator. Give me the answer. What would it be? The value of the expression if x is minus 1. Coefficient. I just said good. You guys should get positive 2. If you didn't, who didn't get positive 2? Yeah. The whole thing. Okay, so if you did not get positive 2, then it means that you forgot about your brackets. Okay? So I was just testing there. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, then can I skip? Okay. Over here, I'm going to ask you to simplify. Come on, I wil my pen weer nie skryf nie. Okay, right. We're going to simplify. So, remember about BODMAS. What's the very first step here? Multiply in to get rid of the brackets. Now, in that first bracket, there's nothing really to multiply in. Right? So that is just 7x plus 4x minus 2. Right? Okay?
Please go to the voorportaal. Engelse praatplaas, daar is voorportaal en moet ons kyk asseblief.
Please go to the voorportaal. Okay, right. Ons is 'n mengelskool, is ons nie? Okay, so to get rid of the brackets here, what did I have to multiply in? Positive 1. Okay, so that I must go multiply in. And that's going to give me negative 3x to the power of 2, positive 6x, and minus 10. So can you see I just got rid of the brackets? Now, for me to be able to simplify, I have got to look for like terms. Okay, now last year I taught you guys, last year I taught you guys it wouldn't be wrong if you maybe shuffled it around, but again, we're moving closer towards grade 12, so we want to get it right. No? First things first, when you've got more than one unknown, we put them in alphabetical order. Do you remember that? Okay, over here we don't have, it's all just in terms of x, so we're fine with that. Then, second thing that I also taught you guys last year is that we write our expression in descending powers of that unknown. So I'm not going to start with a constant number here. I'm going to start with x squared, and then I'm going to write my x's, and then my normal numbers or the constant. Okay, right, so let's start with the x squared. So there was only one of them. So that's going to stay minus 3x to the power of 2. Okay, now, next I want my x's. And who are they? 7x, 4x, 6x. Okay, so 7x plus 4x gives me 11x plus 6x, so 17x. Okay, now my constant terms. So, minus 2 minus 10 will give me minus 12. And that's what we end with. Okay.